Ladies and gentlemen, Om Swastiastu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam namo buddhaya. The Honorable Dr. Wang, Dean of Chemical Engineering, CYCU Taiwan, as the third speaker today. The Directorate and Secretary of Postgraduate Program, Universitas Swanmadewa, Dr. Salida Betty Usman, Head of Tourism Section, University Kuala Lumpur Business School, Malaysia, as the speaker. Ida Bagus Agung Pratanyana, the Chairman of County Tourism Board, also as the speaker. Dr. Anis Ketur Putra Irawan, MD, PhD, as our moderator today. The Honorable all the participants of this international conference, ladies and gentlemen. On this great occasion, let me proudly welcome you all to our virtual international conference entitled Tourism Strategy in New Normal Era, which is conducted by Postgraduate Program, Universitas Swanmadewa, today, Thursday, the 17th December 2020, and this international conference is part of the second International Conference of Social Science, or the second Icoss 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, some of our agendas today, such as first the opening, then will be continued by singing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. Then the following agenda will be the opening speech by the Paris Rector for Academic Affairs, Universitas Swanmadewa. Then we will all follow the main agenda today, the presentation and discussion session. Lastly, closing session. That's all of our agenda on this conference today. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to follow our next agenda, singing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. To all the participants, would you please stand up? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's go to the next agenda. Opening speech by Vice Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah. Di Bapak Insun Yaman KCMSI, time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Before my speak, let me inform you that Rector of Warmadwa University call not joining this conference as there is another agenda. It should much honor and great pleasure for me to welcome you, the second international conference of social science, tourism strategy in new normal era. You honorables cannot speak. Prof. Chung Charles-Wan, Department of Chemical Engineering, Chung Yuan Christian University, Toyan, Taiwan. Your Honorable Dr. Sarina B.T. Hosman, Head Tourism Section, University Kuala Lumpur Business School, Malaysia. Your Honorable Dr. Augusto B. C. Suarez, Rector of IUB Timor-Leste. You Honorable Bapak Ide Bagus Agung Parte Adjana, Chairman Bali Tourist Board. Your Honorable Directors and Secretary Postgraduate Program Warmadwa University. Our moderator Bapak Ketut Putra Erawan PhD. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Om Swastiastu. Ladies and gentlemen, it's well known that COVID-19 pandemic we led to change in the world tourism trend, where health, hygiene, safety, and security issue will be the main considered for the tourists who want to the travel. Therefore, tourist and creative economic industry must really anticipate change in the trend, and we must really be able to predict in which direction the change is. I do believe all of must be prepared the new normal condition in the tourist sector, such as preparing new standard, culture, or habit and editing. This morning, we together concern our third and perspective relative tourism strategy and new normal area, including what strategy should be applied by tourism and creative economic industry, and of course of local, or what policies should be chosen by government. There's two questions must be asking by people all over the world. We must decide what we have to do in the new normal era, as tourism sector also able strengthen 70 sectors as business, transportation, food, beverage, education, health, to provide improvement opportunities. So it gives also impact society surrounding. I do really hope that this conference could be give solution to tourism sector in the new normal area. Last but not least, I would like to thank to all speakers, participants, and also committee. This program, I wish you a successful and enlightening conference. Thank you. Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was no next page by the Vice Rector of Warmadwa. And this international trainer has been obviously open. Thank you to Bapak Nyoman Kaje, Vice Rector of Universitas Surabaya. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to call our main agenda today, presentation and discussion. And in this session, I'd like to invite our moderator today. He is Bapak Ketut Putra Erawan, and he is PhD. He is Executive Director of Institute for Peace and Democracy, Bali, Indonesia. And he is also lecturer at Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, Udayana University, Bali, and head of One Bali International Affairs. To Bapak Ketut Putra Erawan, time is totally yours for approximately 1.5 hours. Thank you very much.
Up to 12:30.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All the participants for this important, challenging topic. We will discuss several important points about how to tourism strategy in new normal era. Before presenting the speakers and asking the speaker to give a short remark, let me summarize agenda for today. We will first let the introduction for speakers by citing or reading some of the short CVs, curriculum briefs of the speakers, and then we adjourn to ask the speakers to give presentation around 10 to 15 minutes. We will continue with the discussion through chats or direct question up to 12:30. And for the participant who want to ask question, please you can use English, but if you much more comfortable to use Indonesian, please do so. I will translate it into English to enable us to make the conversation in language. Okay. First, let me introduce the theme of today, which is tourism strategy in new normal era. There are three things we want to achieve for today's meeting, particularly about assessing the challenges of responding pandemic COVID-19 in new normal era by comparing the experiences of Taiwan, Malaysia, and Indonesia. We try to understand the complexities of health issues, government policies, and also civil society and society's responses to the pandemic. The second part, we will also discuss about what are the strategies made or designed or prepared by the government, tourism actors, or the ecosystem to support tourism. So the strategy available and learn from other experiences, particularly from Indonesia, Taiwan, and Malaysia, will be discussed. There are three elements of those strategies, which is we hope we will touch during the discussion. The first one is how the strategy goes to respond the pandemic. The second is strategies about how to rejuvenate or to enabling it to recover from the process of pandemic. And the last one is strategies to make it resilient both in terms of state's capacity to respond and economic functioning, and particularly tourist industrial functioning. The last part, after we are discussing about challenges, strategies, we hope we can also touch on the issue of ecosystem of tourism, which ecosystem meaning all of the element to support enabling the strategies to function. So hopefully we will touch those three main themes with our presentation, with our discussion, and with our question and response. Yeah, with us today, we have three distinguished speakers, two academicians, and one practitioner. And also we are joined by so many different elements of participants representing the tourism industrial sector, state actors, societal actors, hopefully some of international organizations will join us also. Okay, let me first introduce Professor Sai Wang Chung, which is a distinguished professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering from Chung Christian University, Taiwan. He got his PhD degree in chemical engineering from the University of Missouri, Columbia, United States. He has published more than 200 papers in Harvard Journal, international conferences, and book chapters. And he has received Special Outstanding Talent Award for about 10 times from the Ministry of Science and Technology, Excellent Technology Transfer Award for about 9 times from the Chung Christian University, and several industrial academia progression award. By saying my appreciation of participation of Professor Sai Wang Chung, I invite Professor Wang Chung to present his remark.
It's a great pleasure for me to introduce today's topic, the opportunity of innovation and entrepreneurship in an era of new normal. I'm Professor Chai Wang Zhong from Zhongyuan Christian University. First of all, I'd like to show you the CYCU profile. Zhongyuan Christian University was established in 1955. We are top 100 university in the world in receiving U.S. patent. We have 7 colleges, 29 departments, 31 graduate programs, and 13 doctoral programs. We also have a 44 research centers in different areas. The objectives. The COVID-19 pandemic brought with it many disruptions to business activity and the daily life. Believing in such opportunity need both positive attitude that see this new turning point in this history defining moment. This report shared the idea of the importance of utilizing this moment to help young talents toward a greater transformation. Some of these threats have affected our normal business operation and performance, while other threats have gone deep on raising many questions inside us about the possibility or opportunity of the business innovation or entrepreneurship in this era of new normal. In this report, the new opportunity and the case study will be discussed, and the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem developed from the Zhongyuan Christian University and society and government will be introduced. COVID-19 pandemic brought with it many disruptions to global economy. However, in this video, the vertical axis shows the number of COVID-19 deaths per million. The horizontal axis shows the percentage decline of GDP relative to the same quarter in 2019. You will see the disruption to Taiwan and Indonesia economy are relatively small. Master the market trend for global layout. You should consider two factors. One is the trend for international economic and trade. You find the fact that the increased production cost in China, continued US-China trade war, COVID-19 epidemic outbreak. And the second is global supply chain reorganization. You will find the supply chain become localization, short chain, spread risk. Combine them and build out the target country. The best investment should be in Taiwan, North America, Southeast Asia, or China. Owning industry supply chains and cluster go into Asian market can make Taiwan's new southbound policy succeed. CYCU Southeast Asia Industry University Cooperation Platform will become one of the few trusted security platforms in the era after COVID-19. One of the examples, CYCU platform in Indonesia will be introduced in here. CYCU set up co-incubation centers and international IT agent cooperation in Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, China, Vietnam, and so on. We have total 16 countries working together, 12 strategic partners, and 7 co-incubation centers in different countries. One of the examples is bioresource cooperation between CYCU and Intergaude, started on 2005. CYCU and Intergaude set up co-incubation center at Jakarta. And cooperation among CYCU, China Petron Corp, and the industry at Intergaude. China Petron Corp, Jatopa Plantation Project with Intergaude was in 2009. CYCU research team assisted Taiwan company on investment evaluation of industry academic cooperation in Indonesia through this platform. You can see so many companies photo here. We also assist the China company on investment evaluation of industry academic cooperation in Indonesia. One of the projects is in Bangka Island, we call Cassava Whole System Project. This map shows the Jambi and the Bangka Island area. I think you all Indonesian people know where it is. In CYCU, we have an office called Executive Operation Office for Industry Academic Cooperation. Under this office has 4 centers. One is Global Research and Industry Alliance Center. The second is Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center, and then Technology Transfer Center and Incubator. With these 4 office centers help value-added service, we can make the in-campus enterprise become domestic industry, even the international enterprise. And then the enterprise feedback to the university. This is called the value-added service for in-campus enterprise. In MIT, you will see they have a very good ecosystem for campus enterprise. From positioning, contest, developing country cooperation, invention reward, technology transfer, venture monitoring service, innovation center, entrepreneurship center, idea to entrepreneurship. And in CYCU, you will see the ecosystem quite similar to MIT. The counseling mechanism. We have 6 functions for the counseling mechanism. For example, matching industry and funding, professional counseling and training, customized management training, business training with IP due diligence service office, fundraising and feedback learning, governmental external resource integration. And for the future, we will see this mechanism is quite diversity and cross-discipline. For example, we have a business team, not only a business team, germination team, technical team, but also we provide a design team and legal team. The case executive SOP, we will started from germination research for potential technique within or outside the campus. And then we help this team in innovation, possibility, niche market, IP ownership, VC advice, mentor counseling. Finally, we help them customize the counsel, accompanying mentors. The venture capital advice throughout the progress, and you will see the mentor know the germination team better than others. So finally, they will become the inventors. For the case study, the first one is the entrepreneurship from CYC research team on smart manufacturing and green energy. This is including technology transfer, incubation, international service, joint venture. The product is biomass smart manufacturing and biofuel green power supply. The oil press factory in Jambi was set up by Foxside International Company from Taiwan. The oil press and extraction system in our laboratory. However, we developed a self-designed smart oil press system and self-designed the solvent extraction system. A patent technology developed from this cooperation by using membrane refinery to degum, dewax, and to remove the sulfur from the oil. The crude crane oil using membrane to do oil dewaxing and degum, oil desulfuric and other impurity. And we get degummed oil or called PBO, pure crane oil. And with this one, we can make food oil, biofuel, and all others. The PBO can be using transesterification to get biodiesel, and or directly using or blending with fossil diesel. The self-designed pilot plant of biodiesel fuel was in our laboratory. Several years ago, Foxside International Company built a palm oil mill in Jambi. And about 2 years ago, Cantone Company came here to set up hybrid power plant next to the palm oil mill. They signed to working together to construct about 500 hybrid power plant and 500 small palm oil mill in Indonesia. And this is TV news when they signed the MOA. The smart hybrid power system in Jambi, the biomass from the palm oil mill might be the bunch or the press gas, and then we send it to the gas fire to do gasification to get the syngas, and syngas will be sent to the gas turbine and to get electricity, and that electricity sent to the palm oil mill for their usage. So you will see this example in Jambi. In here, you have a palm oil mill and the power generator system in here. And for the gasification, you will see is a gas fire here and the air cleaning system, and also have an internal combustion generator. And this hybrid power system in Jambi was established and finished on December of 2019, I think. The second case study is also an entrepreneurship from CYCU research team. It's focused on functional biomass and e-commerce. This case also includes technology transfer, incubation, joint venture, and international services. And they're producing food oil and skincare products. We try to expand the market to China, Japan, and Asia by e-commerce. The membrane concentration of a small molecular protein production in Taoyuan City. And this one is the membrane refinery of food oil production in Xindian, New Taipei City. And we also have a small molecular biomass bioresource filtration and concentration collaboration in China. So the conclusion here is the trends of Taiwan, small and medium enterprise and manufacturing in the era of new normal. The enterprise changed from cost performance to trust performance. The price changed from China price to Taiwan price. The company in here or manufacturing in here, just like in Indonesia, should play a key role in industry to keep the leading position in industry, seize the core position in global supply chain. And we should have more complete industry ecosystem. That means complete industry chain for manufacturing. More powerful competitive strengths. We should have to develop smart manufacturing for digital transformation. So the challenge and the opportunity for entrepreneurship in an era of new normal, we should consider two important factors. The first is the global supply chain, reorganization and localization. And the second is towards smart manufacturing and digital economy. Thank you for your listening. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Professor Wang Chung, for your nice presentation. At least 5 points have been discussed, have been shared, particularly about how the disruption of pandemic COVID-19 affecting the business activity. And your point stating that this is supposed to be the new turning point for the history, how to rejuvenate from the disruption. And you discuss about how it is affecting the trend of international economy and several elements of the practices made by CYCU have been presented also. One, which is you mentioned about how international platform of industry cooperation can resolve the disruption. You have been described, elaborate how CYCU work with the induk KUD in Indonesia and also with China in Indonesia as tripartite. Professor Wang Chung also mentioned about how the smart manufacturing through value-added services, which is a strategy or mechanism of entrepreneurship, working together with the ecosystem of entrepreneurship have been rejuvenate the manufacturing sector. So smart manufacturing sector plus green economy, you elaborated about how the oil press machine and application of fuel plant will be sustainable response toward the pandemic. I think Professor Wangchung already start discussing the element Warman Dewa University to go, which is working closely with international partner on the sustainable economy and sustainable technical technical manufacturing like CYCU. Okay, let me introduce our second speaker, which is Dr. Sarina Osman. Good evening. Good morning, Dr. Sarina.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Dr. Sarina Osman is a senior lecturer and the head of tourism section at University Kuala Lumpur Business School. She earned her PhD degree in the management from Exeter University, United Kingdom. Her research interest is around identity, image, reputation, organizational culture, gastronomic tourism, tourism destination, identity branding, and many other elements, including e-tourism. Dr. Osman is also editorial advisory board for several journals and was also invited as key of guest speakers in many seminars and conferences. Okay, time is yours, man.
Okay. Can you see my slide? Dr. Paketut, can you see my slide? Yes. Is it in a full slide? Yes.
Full slide.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. Thank you, University Warmadewa, for inviting me as one of the speakers for the second International Conference of Social Science. My presentation will be about new normal outlook in Malaysian tourism landscape. I'm currently attached to University Kuala Lumpur Business School and I'm the section head for tourism section. Okay. As everyone aware that the world pandemic COVID-19 has caught the world by surprise. The first case of COVID-19 in Malaysia was reported in January, and ever since we are still fighting to control the spreading and eventually to stop the transmission of the virus. The outbreak has affected the country's economy badly, particularly the tourism sector. The government of Malaysia has recorded losses of as much as 3.37 billion ringgit Malaysia within the first 2 months of the year of 2020. And of course, for now, the number has increased tremendously. In March this year, our government has also announced the movement control order to mitigate and control the situation. And of course, again, the decision has impact on the economic activities and the people lifestyle in Malaysia, particularly. So before the outbreak, we know that tourism happens every day. Everybody can travel, everybody can fly, but not today. So then what the future tourism landscape be like, right? The question here is, what the future tourism landscape be like? So due to the current world scenario, the tourism is predicted to be an activity for the wealthy people and those die-hard adventurers. In other words, travel will become a luxury activity where only the rich can afford to go for travel. And perhaps this is due to the fact that the rich will pay more to travel but confine their travels to selected destination and safe locations. They also prefer privacy setting, and they would go to areas where the operator limits the number of tourists allowed into the area. And meanwhile, the ordinary people, which is the majority, will stay put at home, right? Or only go for holiday closer to home, or the average people will experience new places through virtual reality, where they can virtually visit places from the comfort of their living rooms, yeah, at home, right? And the other prediction is that many activities that usually the reason or the purpose or the motivation for people to travel will now occur at home, right? For instance, people who go cruising, right, and enjoy gambling on board of the ship or cruise, now will start to gamble online at home instead, right? People who travel to other countries for shopping, right, will now shop for luxury goods on Amazon or any other online shopping platform instead, right? So there are some other prediction and of the future tourism landscape, but this is some of the example that I can give you today. All right. So the question now, will tourism business in Malaysia collapse? Because this is in the Malaysian context, right? So frankly, I don't have the definite answer for this, right? So however, from my observation, it is depending on, first, the affordability for people to travel. Because of the pandemic, most of the economic activities have been devastated and collapsed, right? And many people lost their job or even suffer for pay cut, right? And therefore, there are possibilities that people are no longer considering to spend on traveling. So they prefer to save the money for other things except or besides traveling, right? And secondly, about the traveling or movement restriction order imposed by the government in the effort to control the outbreak. Okay, so at the moment in Malaysia, we encourage our communities or our people to travel domestically, right? This, of course, a way to boost up the tourism sector. But in fact, Malaysian nowadays, if you just for sharing, right, especially during the weekends, okay, they have started to go for holidays, right? For they're flogging into different places all over Malaysia, all right. And of course, this give a bit of breathing space, right, to tourism business in Malaysia. However, the closing of border to international tourists has largely affected the income generation for tourism activities. Okay, even though domestic traveling is in operations, but for us, without the international tourists, it is not enough for the industry to survive. I believe this case same goes to Bali in Indonesia. And thirdly, the concern for safety, right? The worrying feeling of being infected in a way affect the intention for people to travel. Still, despite of all these promotion packages and the campaign to travel domestically, still at the moment, some of the Malaysian are reluctant to travel because of the concern of safety, right? Okay. Well, this year, right, we are supposed to welcome and host tourists because we declare year 2020 as the Visit Malaysia year. But of course, sadly, it is not happening, right? So perhaps we can meet you guys maybe in the future, right? Okay. So, personally, I would say that actually traveling is now become a need to us, right? A need to everyone. Traveling is no longer a privilege where only the rich can afford. This is the ideal situation. and it has become a part of our lifestyle. Everyone wants to travel. Everyone wants to visit different places, right? Experience different culture, right? Meet different people. But with this in mind, right, the urge to travel is always there, right? They're always there. Therefore, I believe the industry will be the first to recover as soon as the pandemic crisis is over, right? Because traveling, if you look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs in terms of traveling, it's no longer a basic needs, right? So everybody has the urge to travel, right? Nevertheless, until we reach that stage, okay, the stage where the pandemic crisis is over, we need to formulate a right strategy to address the current situation. So here I like to share 3 elements that we could consider in putting up our strategy. Okay, so first is product offering. Okay, we are all used to visit destination physically. Yes, yes, and yes, we still can do that domestically. In fact, in Malaysia, yes, we can do that domestically, and I believe same goes to Bali. But why can't we go beyond the usual, right? So we have to change our product offering. Okay, and thank you for the technology advancement, right? We would capitalize, okay? We are able to capitalize on the availability of technology. I will later share some of the example. And secondly, okay, we have to identify or create or emphasize on the uniqueness of your product. Okay, and tourism is about selling dreams, right? Selling experience. So you must find your own UPS, yeah, unique selling points. Okay, so in Malaysia, for example, we have a group of people who are aggressively promoting digital tourism as an alternative to physical tourism, right? The brand that they are carrying is Malaysian Virtual Experience, MyVXP, yeah, Digital Tourism Unlimited. So what do they do? Okay, there are so many tourism products that you can choose from based on where you're from or based on the resources you have in your area, right? And remember, try to find the uniqueness, right? The uniqueness, the unique selling point of your product. Regardless which tourism sector you are in, right? You can always offer a good tourism product. All right. For example, if you're interested in rural tourism, okay, so you can do rural tourism in virtual experience, right? You can show all the activities that can be done in rural tourism, okay, and people can share by just looking because of all these constraints. So this is the new way of sharing tourism. Okay, so these are the example of virtual product, virtual tourism product available in Malaysia. For example, you can see Kampung Moten Melaka virtual tour, right? And you can see here also Negeri Sembilan, where women rule in the clan. So all these are actually tourism product, right? But it's been shared virtually, right? Okay. And these are again some example of live online experience. Okay, it's conducted online and live, right? Okay, for example, humanity-based tourism, art painting, okay, concert, all right. Again, another example, live art stream, oil painting, okay. And these operators, Aisha, okay, share the experience of oil painting in the through online, and she is charging ringgit Malaysia 30 for 1.5 hours session, right? You can see that that's some of the her customers, right? Clients, right? This is also another example of success story about this lady. So she is actually selling a storytelling knowledge-based culture, right? In Sampurna Island, right? So she always have her package sold out, right? Okay. And this is another one, right? Jom pergi jalan-jalan, okay, Bagan Sungai Besar. So where they actually hosting the session and share a lot of things about Bagan Lalang, including the activities, the economic activities, the culture, okay, depending on what the packages offer, right? If you can see there, they are actually offering quite expensive but worth it, yeah, especially to the international tourists who could not come to the country at the moment. All right. Okay, so this is about the product offering. Okay, the second consideration in formulating the strategy is the market. Okay, probably now we have to focus on a niche strategy because of the movement restriction. People are only allowed to travel in small group. Okay, so this is against the mass tourism. Okay, for instance, we can focus into a specific type of group with similar interests. Okay, for example, those are interested in dark tourism, so we can, you know, have a package to explore some what do you call it, uh, eerie kind of places, you see, to experience dark tourism, right? And of course, you don't be surprised. There are people or there are tourists that actually looking at this kind of tourism attraction, yeah, tourism product. And of course, by doing this, I think it might be a worthy decision to take forward, right? So focus on a certain niche market, right? You cater for a special needs or purposes, right? So we create our unique package and we try to tap a different market, not a mass tourism, okay? And thirdly, we must be aware of the changes in travelers' profile. Okay, and not only that, they would probably prefer to travel in small group, as I mentioned just now, but people are more concerned with safety and health, right? So we highlight all these safety measures and that you undertake or you prepare to attract people to come to your places, such as signboards on wearing masks, face masks, or regularly wash or sanitize hands, you know, things like that. So you show or you demonstrate all these signals saying that you are actually care about safety and health of your customers, right? And again, you can always capitalize on the technology, right? Leverage on the use of social media and all the campaigns that you can do online. And not to forget about the reduction in purchasing power that I've highlighted before, right? So where people can be quite prudent in their spending, right? They'll be more calculative in spending for tourism purposes. So those who have a limited budget, but they still wanted to travel, so we have to think along this line. So what can we actually offer to this market segment? Because for me, they are mass, they are abundant out there, right? Okay, so as the conclusion, based on the current tourism landscape, these are some examples that what Malaysia has been doing, and we need to creatively and mindfully formulate strategy for both short and long-term strategy, yeah? And we should not wait until the pandemic is over. In fact, we do not know when it's going to end, right? So we have to consider to rebrand our product offering, right? By looking at our uniqueness and align our market, target market, and understand the changing needs and behavior of travelers, right? To find a different niche group of people, right? To come up with a creative product, and this should be the basis of our strategy, okay, be it long or short term strategy. So remember to explore new ways of doing things, and at the same time, your strategy must be flexible and agile, right? Why? Because we have to be flexible, we have to be agile enough to face the current and future challenges. So our short term and long term must be agile, okay, adaptive to changes, right? So that we can quickly adapt to whatever happen to cater the current and the future challenges. I think with this, thank you so much for listening.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Usman. I think we got several important points which come to the four elements. One is that about what is the tourism landscape affecting the world, particularly Malaysia. And Dr. Usman bring a really important question: will tourism business in Malaysia collapse? I think it's tough question to be responded by assessing affordability to travel, traveling restriction, and also about safety. She asked question: will the tourism business in Malaysia collapse? And she found a nice changing kind of turning point in Malaysian way of seeing tourism. One is that the new outlook, the traveling is not seen as a luxury anymore. The virtual products by going digital to supporting economy, culture, nice beach and market, and also jalan-jalan or traveling in the Malay world. And finally, she mentioned about some strategies to make those new outlook sustain. One is that by making the product offering available through technology and focusing on unique selling point. And the last one, she mentioned about what is the tourism attitudes we should shape during the pandemic and post-pandemic. Thank you very much, Dr. Asman. Now we continue to the last speaker, which is from Bali, Ida Bagus Agung Marta Anyana. He is owner of the Club Aqua, Sea Workers, and the International Rafting. Up to now, he is also the director of Santiago Group up to now, and he is Bali Tourism Board chairman for the period 2016-2022. So without you, I invite Ida Bagus Agung Marta Anyana to present your remark. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. Selamat pagi. Very good morning. Thank you for Warmadewa to inviting me. Once again, I'm a chairman of Bali Tourism Board. There is 10 stakeholders under my umbrella. There is a travel agency, hotel, guide, transportation. There's to support tourism business in Bali. Okay, Pak, since my connection in my house not so well, so I try to, please help me my presentation, yeah. So this is my presentation for the Bali tourism strategy in 2021. Okay, next. Next, please. Okay, since we know that I set back, yeah, from the January. Actually, when the virus outbreak in Wuhan, yeah, on January, we actually our tourism growth in Bali growth like positive 11% compared to last year, yeah. And then on February, 5 of February, when the China border closed the border, we have now tourists from China. We decreased like 18%, yeah. And then March, when the virus outbreak on in Europe, yeah, some place in Europe like Iran, Italy, Vatican, and Switzerland. So we decreased because of 40% is our market is European. Of course, we are decreased like 42%. And then April until now, so when we are close border, the virus outbreak in Bali, we are the number is decreased like 98%. Next. Okay, but this is from I got from the UNWTO, yeah. So I think by regions, I think Asia Pacific, yeah, like us, I think it's the decrease the highest, yeah, 79%. So we are very suffering today. And then next, as we know, tourism in Bali mostly there's leisure and MICE. So we have two kind of tourists coming to Bali. First, leisure. Next. Okay, this is from my association. Yeah, this PHRI is a hotel and restaurant. BHA is a 5-star hotel around Bali. Asita is travel agency. Gahavistri is a marine association. Putri is like a destination. HP is guide. Pawiba is a transportation, spa and wellness, and international shop. Most from my members, leisure members. So we got they report to me like a 9 billion US dollar decrease since 2020. Next. This is for MICE. We have also since outbreak on June until October, many meeting was cancelled. Yeah, many meeting like there's many meeting we cancel. So we lose like in US dollar we lose like 310 million US dollar. Next. Next. Yeah. Okay. This is compared to last year. Just for give the picture. Yeah. So Bali last year we got the number 1. Yeah. Number 2 is Jakarta. Number 3 is Pulauan Riau, Batam, Bintan, something. We got the visa like 9 billion US dollar and 55% from all tourists in the yield. Yeah, all tourists from the yield from all Indonesia. The number of visitors, Bali number 1, second Rio and Jakarta. And then spendings, the Bali still also is the highest as well. Next. Okay, but this is what we have now. Since until what happened Bali now? We of course we close still the government still close the border for tourism, but we have some regulation. There's we can related to tourism. There is the people still can come to Bali as long they are business business visa. They business visa, and then but not direct flight yet to Bali. So there's still many there's people from foreign still come to Bali through Jakarta and Bali. Next one. Okay. So as we know, we have we have big holiday now in December, for New Year's and Christmas. Something many local tourism's coming to Bali. So mostly this is the challenge for Bali right now. Mostly the tourists come from Jakarta, West Java, East Java, and another islands. Mostly like Jakarta and Java, mostly they are red zone for the COVID-19. So that's why this is very challenge right now for Bali because since 2 days ago or 3 days ago, so the governors uh, actually this come from the central government in our Jakarta to issue like what you call it some new regulation. Yeah, everybody's come to Bali use the air flight used to uh, use to have a PCR. Uh, so of course this is very not good here for the middle from the middle down to the market. So it's many cancels come to visit Bali for the Christmas and New Year's. Next. So so what we do, so we still focus on domestic market. Yeah, since we know that 2019 10 millions, 10.7 millions Indonesian people traveling abroad. Yeah. So it's very good market for very good market for Bali since they are not going anywhere. So I think Bali very good. Yeah, I mean where they put Bali as a #1 destination. So of course when they can come to go out, yeah, I think Bali is a first choice compared to another island in all around Indonesia. Okay, next. Uh, we already predict, yeah, since we open for since the government in Bali open for domestic market on 21st of July. Many business travelers coming to Bali until now. There's they use a business visa from overseas to Jakarta and then Bali. Next. Next, please. Okay. We actually we since we predict there's no many tourists will come to Bali when we since the vaccine not invented yet. So we try to offer like this program Walk from Bali, since we know that this is very this is very important. Yeah, so this is like tourists, they're spending a lot here, and then they got they're doing business outside as online, but they send the money to Bali. So we since 12 years ago we have 159 increase. So it's very good market. Yeah, so and then over the past 5 years there's a 45% growth for remote work. Yeah, I mean like digital nomads working in Bali. So I think this is our targeting, not because we believe the normal tourist is not come back easily. Yeah, many challenge. So better we do something like creative. We start to try to to introduce like work from Bali. Yeah, this is very good for local people here. They will stay and eat and local business around Bali. I think what next? I think this all done. Yeah, finish. Terima kasih Pak. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Gusagung, for your concise but precise presentation. At least 3 points I take notes. One is that you mentioned about the timeline. and then -70% of the growth of the process, the tourism industry. The challenges you mentioned about more than 310 million costs. There are set strategies learning from the case of Bali. One, changing the focus from international tourists to become a domestic one, which is the motto is domestic is good. That's a really nice. And the second one you mentioned about the possibility of working from Bali. Basically, all of those Balinese government and Balinese society to be able to support those to studies. Okay. Let me check. Are there any chatting asking some question? No, yet? Oh yeah. Okay. Let me check. Oh, there are two questions basically. One from Pasat Mangku from Dr. Pasat Mangku from Udayana University. I'm sorry, from Warmadewa University. With some from Warmadewa International Affairs. His question is, dear committee, I have a question to Professor Chang and Dr. Osman. Question for Professor Chang. The increasing of industries can provide positive and negative impacts. How the strategy to mitigate the negative impact of the tourism development? That's for Professor Chang and for Dr. Osman. One unique tourism model has a good prospect in the future, which is it's called meditourism. How can we develop a meditourism in the new rural area? I think I should ask the first response from Professor Chang first on issues of how the strategy to mitigate the negative impact on the tourist development, because tourist development is not all of those are positive. I think those adults also can respond to this similar question. Okay. Let me invite Professor Chang first. Professor Chang. Okay. If not, can I invite Bapak Rosarum to respond on the question on there is a positive and negative impact of tourism industries, particularly. What do you think about the strategy to respond to the negative impacts?
Sorry, Pak, once again, sorry, I'm not so clear. Please,
Okay.
please repeat again, Pak.
The question is about the tourism industry, great positive impact, visa, jobs, network, and new technology, but also great negative impact. For example, way of life, sometimes stability. In the case of COVID pandemic, sometimes the question on whether the tourists will bring the COVID-19 to Bali. How will you respond to that?
Yeah, I try. Thank you, Pak. Jadi this is like what you call it's like tourism in Bali proof. Yeah, that's give increase of economic for wealth for the Balinese people. So yeah, 52% of economic came from tourism. So of course there's a negative negative impacts on social, on our culture. Some, yeah, some effect negative on for because of the tourism. That's why the government should not only government, yeah, the university, the people should thinking since to what you call focus on sustainable tourism. We have we have Trita Karana, yeah. So this is very good wisdom, yeah, to practical. So I think we should focus on sustainable tourism. That's why we that's the government, even the central government switch from the KPI from quantity to quality, Pak. So I think this is very important first, switching from the quantity to quality. So not the same again. Itu Pak, mungkin jawaban dari saya, Pak.
Yes. Dr. Kusagong, can I push the question further? Because right now there are two different policies was applied for our domestic tourism, which is if you fly through airline using airlines, they require you to have PCR, while using like seaport or cars without airplane, they require you only for rapid test or maybe gain tracing of the COVID. It's just different treatment. Some people are asking questions because PCR are too PCR treatment are too expensive for some, and they cancel the trip of the money. And the rapid test, some people say that it is not kind of effective in precise way to respond to the COVID because it's only detect the symptom in the beginning without knowing whether you are affected or tanpa gejala or non-symptomatic person. Okay. Can you respond to these issues? Because right now in Bali, there's a big question on this.
Yeah, but like this, Pak. So mostly the wisdom come from Java, right? The wisdom come from Java. Sorry. The tourists, domestic tourists come from Java, and then since we know Bali is like our jewel, yeah, of Bali Indonesian tourism. So I think the central government tried to protect Bali first. This is very good things actually, but as we know, this is happened so suddenly. Yeah? So too late, yeah, to do this. Like Jokowi, our president mentioned, so we should cut the holiday. Of course, our minister in Jakarta should do faster. I mean, responded faster. I mean, if they give information earlier, I think it's not going to be problem for industrial in Bali. Yeah. So we like me in industry, of course, we can do like more creative. Yeah. We still we don't want to stop the tourists from Java to Bali, but we want to filter it. Yeah. As I know, I'm also as like a task force, yeah, Satgas for COVID-19. Like today, we try to open soon. Yeah, the I think the earliest like 1st of January, hopefully. Yeah. So we like yesterday we do the simulation in the airport. We tried like 300 people's coming. So this is because of Bali very important. What you call it, very important geo for Indonesia. That's why the government, even the central government, the governor here try to do something to protect Bali. We don't want after the holidays over, the virus outbreak, and then make our international open getting more longer. I think this is more suffering for Bali. So I know there's a some question still come to me, like some friends from Java, why they are so suddenly and not because this virus outbreak already in Bali bit high. 3rd of December already. Of course, actually, when on that, the government should respond quickly and then make a coordination to industry. I think this is, we need very good communication, yeah, internal communication for this in the future. And then also the question also, what is the different antigen and PCR? I have no answer for that. So this is why different if you go to Bali through air and land. Yeah, I think I have no answer for that. So this is good, but we set back again. But for the longer and for the bigger and for the sustainability of Bali, Pak. Terima kasih, Pak.
Yes. Yes, I think Pak Arun answered this really strategic and tactful way because yes, the central government should allowing the local authority and the local people to be able to respond to the policy they have because when they make a policy which is confused, not tourists who want to come to Bali, but also the people from the tourist sector like Pak Abu. Okay, let me continue with the question for Ibu Osman. Dr. Osman, the question is about mainly tourism. What do you think about mainly tourism, which is basically focusing in new rural area? Is that a new landscape of tourism we should focus in on? And what is consequences, negative one, if we want to focus on this beside the positive one? Dr. Osman,
Okay.
can you respond?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the questions. Actually, I'm not very familiar with Mali tourism, but I think overall or generally, when you wanted to develop any product of tourism, first you have to focus on the what type of experience that you want the tourist or your customer to bring home, right? What are the experience? Because traveling, I mean, tourism is very much about the experience, right? When you travel or when you do things, it's all about experience. So you have to focus on the what are the experience that the tourists will bring home, right? And then you look at, for example, for the new rural area as a question here, okay, you have to look at what are the product that you can actually push to the tourists, right? That can create a different experience, a unique experience when they purchase your product, right? You can look at all the resources around you. If, for example, your area is involved in fishing activities, right? So you can have a product experiencing the fisherman life, for example. You bring the tourists to follow a few people doing fishing, right? Sleeping on the boat. And so that is very much in a small group, right? Very interest focused, and is a unique experience that not everyone can have in their daily life, right? So this is special. And secondly, I think you must also look at the readiness of the local people to involve in tourism activities, right? Especially in a new rural area, especially in a if you want to you're about to involve in tourism activities. So you need to look at the readiness. Perhaps some of the tourists, when they come to a specific destination, they don't really care about the service, especially when they go to the rural area, because they know that you don't expect a 5-star service when you travel or you purchase experiential kind of tourism product, right? For example, rural product. So, but at least at the basic level, the people or the community who are going to involve in this particular tourism activities must have the basic knowledge on customer service, you know, customer service, and how do you deal with a different culture. So the readiness of the local community is very important. Okay, even though you have a very good product that you can actually sell, okay, but if your community is not ready, or they don't even care about these activities, these tourism activities, or they do not want, okay, to involve in these activities, it will be challenging for you to embark on any kind of tourism activities.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Usman. We have one question for Bapak Agung, and three questions for Ibu Osman. So I start from question for Mr. Agung first. This is the question is from Christine Desi Natalia. Good morning, Mr. Agung. My name is Christine Desi. I am from the Bali Regional Police, and I'm also one of the participants in the national meeting for event last year. I want to hear what is your opinion about the hot issue now about Bali Police government has issued circular number 46 of 2020, which requires domestic airline passenger wishing to visit Bali either of that to present PCR swab or swab test recommended. Too many people is pointing about this because of we know tourism in Bali have seen an increase in demands. Maybe this police have a positive and negative impact, but finally, because of this policy of the Indonesian government, and losses are very large. Thank you. And the emoji of lady closing their face. Okay. So I think the similar question like previous, but particularly about what do you think, Agung, whether the requirement of swab test PCR will what you call it, halting all the enthusiasm we have because of the UN WTO Director General and Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy already stating that now time for us to rejuvenate and wake up. And suddenly there is a requirement of PCR, and then we stop again from pushing the Bali tourism toward domestic area. What do you think, Pak?
Yeah, but as I mentioned last time, the domestic tourists come from Java. Mostly they are very red zone area. Of course, the government needs something to protect the island of Bali. The problem is the letter of the what you call it, the edaran, yeah, the governor edaran is come to so too early. I mean, so late, yeah. So not come early, so late. That's why the tourism industry or the domestic tourism is not very happy for this. So in the future, maybe we can do very good communication, yeah, for this. Pak.
Yes. Pak Agung and Bu Osman, let me speak to the participants. Any participant who want to use Indonesian language to ask through chat, please. Teman-teman, Bapak Ibu sekalian yang ingin bertanya dalam bahasa Indonesia di chat, silahkan. Silahkan menggunakan bahasa Indonesia, nanti saya akan menggunakan dalam bahasa Inggris. Oke, biar kita terbuka untuk berbagai pandangan. Ya, terima kasih. Let me continue to the three question raised for Dr. Osman, but also Pak Agung in some way. First is from Ms. Mutayuni. This pandemic situation has shown us that our tourism sector is actually booming. Therefore, we should be aware that in design it is prominent. is there any particular strategy, especially for Indonesia, to redesign the tourism industry to be more resilient in the future, especially overcoming unprecedented situation like crisis? The idea not to focusing on mass market, for example, like Dr. Osman mentioned. The quality tourism also mentioned that. Second question is from Anak Agung Murah Baskara. Excuse me, I would like to give a question to Ms. Sabina Osman. As you can see nowadays, we can see a number of fresh graduates is increasing. And how Malaysia engage and encourage the fresh graduate to be productive member of society during the pandemic, particularly. So for Professor Dr. to Pras Vietnam, question is that what is the local tourism in Malaysia, domestic tourism? Because I don't mention about the domestic sector. I think that question first, and because we got several other questions related our
Yes, yes. Okay. To answer about the how Malaysia engage or encourage their fresh graduate to be more productive in this pandemic era. Yes. Okay. So I think at the moment in Malaysia, yes, we have difficulty in getting job because of the pandemic. And most of the organization freeze from recruiting new graduates. But having said so, we still have recruitment for fresh graduates to especially from the giant organizations, yeah, big companies. Okay, the rest of the graduates, from my observation, they kind of involved in online business, right? Online business. Even when they are still studying, many of our graduates, they involve in online business. Okay, for example, they sells attires, yeah, dresses, scarf, even food, right? And because online business, I think at the moment is very much a convenience to support the economic activities, right? Because of the movement restriction. So the online business has been tremendously grow. So most of our fresh graduates are now try to make themselves participate in this economic sector. All right.
domestic and sustainability issues.
I can't. About
Yes.
the next question, is it the potential of local tourism in Malaysia? Yes.
Okay, Dr. Osman, if you can respond to the potential of local tourism.
All right. Okay. Since we are still closing our borders to the international tourists, of course, yes, we cannot have international tourists at the moment, but the government, in fact, now is trying to promote Malaysian to travel locally, right? So that our local tourism industry will start to grow back, right? To revive. Okay, and the way I look at it, it depends on what type of product you are offering in terms of tourism. And again, as I said, you still have to consider the limitation, right? So this is about the tourism capacity, right? So you still have to limit the number of tourists coming to your place. So I think in terms of the growth, it will grow, but slowly, grow slowly, but surely, right? And again, this is depending on the tour operators or the industry player on how can they make their product attractive to the Malaysian, I mean the local people to go to their places. But for my observation at the moment, if you see, especially during weekends, most of the hotels, especially near the beaches, at our highlands, all occupied, especially in the weekend. So I think this is a good sign of local tourism in Malaysia.
Yes. This two question, which I translated into English. One of them will be raised for Pak Agung. I want to ask question about Pak Agung. This is from Rahman Amutri, about what Pak Agung mentioned about the approach from quantity to become quality. It's a long discussion already. But the problem is in their implementation. How to implement the idea of changing the focus on quantity to quality. And the second question is about whether it will contradict the structural issues of tourism in Indonesia, particularly in Bali, because the number of hotel rooms and accommodation in Bali are tremendously based on quantity, not quality. Second question is from Suartika. How to change the quantity to quality? As we know, we are already very depending on tourism industry. If we do quality tourism for sure is going to be implemented, we will. So the question from Rahmandia Murti and Suartika are similar, questioning the contradictory of moving to quantity to quality. Pak Agung, can you respond to these issues?
Thank you, Pak. First, of course, we start with the regulation first, yeah. Like our Minister of Tourism before, Pak Arif Yahya, focus KPI on quantity. That's why they want free visa coming to Bali. That's why many cheap China tourists coming to Bali on that time. It's that's why the first we start with the regulation first. We of course we invite. We don't want to stop the tourists coming to Bali, but we try to filtering. Yeah, we try to filter. Start from the quality of tourism first, and then when they spend a lot here, they stay more longer. They spend more local. Of course, the money more biggers come to Bali. So this is about the regulation first, and then our new minister now, tourism minister now, to try to what you we feel like 5 years ago we don't have a good what you call it, we're not happy, yeah, because there's a exploitation with the tourists, very cheap, especially for the China market. So start with the regulation first part. So we start with the regulation. There's no fee visa, so they will be high-end market more coming to Bali and more spend to Bali a lot more. Itu Pak. And the second ini Pak from Pak Wayan Darsana ya. Can I answer Pak? Bisa ya?
connection with Agung a little bit. Let me ask question to Dr. Osman. Yeah, Dr. Osman, what do you think about the debate about quantity and quality? What is the Malaysian experiences? Do you think it's now the time for us to thinking about quality tourism, and how far it will affect job market, because the number of people who will get benefit from the quality tourism will be not as many as the quantity one. What do you think, Dr. Osman?
Okay, thank you. I think the basis of providing experience is service quality, right? So in a normal circumstances, people are really looking into the service quality of the tour operators, or if you go to a hotel, then you expect a certain level of service quality from the hoteliers, right? But in these circumstances, in this during this pandemic, besides service quality, right, we have to more focus on the hygiene areas, the hygiene elements, right? So in service quality, we have to add some element, which is the hygiene part, right? You have to show how you really taking it seriously into combating this pandemic. So that when tourists come to your places, your customer come to your hotels, for example, they feel safe, they feel comfortable. All right. Service, I mean, quality, it should be there. Okay, as normal. Okay, because we are paying for the service, right? We are paying for the certain level of service from the hotel, but you have to add another element, which is the hygiene, right? So when they come to your place, they feel this is a safe place that I should also share with my friends who are going for traveling. So this will help to in a way promote your place for other people to come, right? So quality is still important.
Quality is very important. There are three questions basically. Only there's a question from Iwayan Darsana for Pak Agung. Can you respond to that, Pak Agung? Let me read again the question. I have a question to the second speaker, the speaker. Question is about the main strategy of the domestic tourist Bali game after our governor shared new regulation. Because as we know, many people not happy with the new regulation, as we got information from the social media and other sources. That the domestic tourists have refunded their ticket around 317 billion rupiah. Second question to Ibu Shalina. Let me first ask question to Pak Agung. I think the question already raised before. Can you respond it again, Pak? About
Yeah, Pak.
Pak Agung?
That's why, yes, yeah, Pak. Yeah, I think the regulation not come from our governor, Pak. This regulation come from our president and our Kemenko, and Kemenko should have a like direction to governor, to bupati. Yeah, of course, as direction has to be linear. Yeah, we cannot make a difference within central government and local government here. Should be same. Yeah, should be linear. That's why when our Kemenko issued the regulation, the governor should have make a like a local regulation here to make it more sharp. Yeah, that's why the problem now. I know that's a problem. This regulation came late. Yeah, came late. Yeah, if they do if they did early December, I think the situation will be different. Yeah. I think if they issued this governor letter issued the early of December, I think the situation will be different. So they will come to our the industry. Of course, we do more creative. Yeah, example like if they stay 10 days in our hotel, they can have a free swab cost. We can pay back. Yeah, the hotel will pay back the swab test. This is the problem for the domestic is the swab test is too expensive, right? It's too expensive. That's why they more cancel to come to Bali. So if the government letter come early, I think we can do more creative, like the hotel. If they stay 10 days, the hotel will pay the swaps and something like that. That's the only the regulation come too late. Yeah, too late. Yeah, come to the industry. That's why.
Yes, Pak Agung, thank you for your clarification that the regulation is came from Jakarta, from state, and then from the Ministry of Coordinating Affairs. There are three questions. Maybe we can say the last one because we already asked the speaker, two speakers to respond to the question for almost 2 hours. So the last question, which is from my perspective important, is raised from by Agung Prameswara and by other by Wayan Carter also. Basically asking a question about what is your idea, Pak Agung, as a practitioner and for Dr. Osman as a researcher about to create and develop ecotourism, tourism based on ecology, and how to make those ecotourism become a sustainable source of income, of living practice of the society. So the question is about how to create and support the ecotourism and sustainable industrial activities in both in Indonesia and Malaysia. Okay, let's start from Dr. Usman first, and the last response from Pak Agung. Dr. Usman.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I think ecotourism is quite what do you call it? It's not easy to do or to develop, but it depends on the area, what the area that you have. I mean, what are the ecotourism product that you can actually promote, right, for your area. So the type of eco activities that you can what do you call it, put forward is important, right? So first you have to identify, for me you have to identify what are the product that is available within your area in order to develop an ecotourism product. And then secondly, as I mentioned before, this is very important, right? The readiness of the community to embrace or to involve in these ecotourism activities, right? Especially in ecotourism, you need to look at you need to have involvement from many stakeholders, right? You cannot simply, for example, go into someone's ladang getah, right? Or you can simply go to someone's paddy field, right? Bring tourists go to the paddy field. No, you cannot do that. So normally ecotourism, you will involve the community. Okay, for example, in Malaysia, we have many ecotourism destination. All right, we have some in Pahang area where we involve our orang asli to participate in these ecotourism activities, right? And it become a very unique kind of experience when the tourist comes. So one is to identify your product. and the other one is to make sure the committee is ready to embrace this type of product. Otherwise, I think you will face challenges in offering this kind of product. And last but not least, the empowerment. Okay, the empowerment of local authorities or local people who will be involving in this ecotourism, right? Because it's very much concerning the sustainability of the area. So people who will involve should be empowered, especially the local community. All right, I think that's all.
Yes. Dr. Osman, thank you very much. I ask Mr. Agung to give your final response to the question of whether ecotourism and sustainable tourism is a viable option for Bali and Indonesia in general.
Sorry, Pak. Yeah. Okay. This is about ecotourism, right? I think yeah, we have a desa wisata. We can the strategy we can create more desa wisata, yeah, around Bali. This is because in desa wisata there is a sustainable life already. We have around Bali the people's working here there, the tourists spending there. So the strategy to have ecotourism is, I think, for me, the best is make more like a desa wisata. But
Okay. Because of our time, I think we should stop our discussion up to now. There is some response need to be continued. Maybe personally to Mahendra from Osman about sharing experiences of Malaysia. But let me ask the two speakers to give your last comment or point about what do you think we learned today through this discussion about the strategies for tourism strategy in new normal era. Maybe starting from Agung, what do you think we learned for discussion today? And then after that, Dr. Usman. Thank you very much. Agung?
yeah, of course, for the tourists coming to Bali, of course, they have to be healthy, right? And then they should follow the protocol. There is distancing. There's a use masker and wash your hands. That's three things very important for tourists to follow. For the government, I think there's a 3T. We call it 3T. There is a testing more, do more testing, do more swab more, and then tracing if they have if they found the and then tracing and then treatment. That's for government, Pak. First, for the tourism is a protocol, and for the government is that's a 3T, Pak. Terima kasih, Pak.
Yes, thank you very much, Pak. Really concise and sharp point for tourists and Dr. Usman, can you give your last point? Last remark?
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I think, yes, from the government point of view, of course, they will look into the policy matters in how to revive the sector, tourism sector, because we all know that tourism sector is very important nowadays to most of the countries, even in Malaysia and Bali, right? So they should provide a good strategy at the government level. On the other hand, for the players, the industry players, I think we need to look at unusual ways in our product offering, especially, right? Because we have the product already, but how can we make it different so that we can attract a limited numbers of tourists at the moment, right? At the moment. And of course, we need to also consider capitalizing on technology in order to offer our product, especially in this COVID situation.
Yes. Thank you very much. The two excellent and resourceful speakers we have today to make the lively discussion for our topic on tourism strategy in new normal era. Let me conclude by besides saying how much I'm thankful to those two speakers, but also to the committee of Lamadewa University, which is preparing this nice meeting in so short time. And I also expect from the speakers to open their hand because Lamadewa University preparing their strategic plan to become center for ecotourism and also global university in the near future. And we hope that there will be cooperation among other university to speakers and to also two countries will be able to continue. Okay, thank you very much. Let me conclude by saying thank you very much for all of the attention and nice discussion.
Yes, let's give great applause to all the speakers, our moderators, and also the participant raised question. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just followed our on our conference today, the presentation, discussion, including the question and session, including question and answer session, right? There was discussion. Well, that means we have done all areas of our international conference day. Hopefully, this event is beneficial to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, representing all of committee members on this international conference, we would like to thank you very much to Rector of Universitas Malaysia, the directories, of course, graduate program, the keynote speaker and all speakers, our moderators, and all participants of our seminar today. We do apologize for any inconveniences happened during this seminar. Once again, thank you very much. See you at the next seminar. Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om. Good morning. Thank you. And reminding to all participants, please get the fulfill our morning form to get your free certificate. Yeah, since this is already closed, right? Probably that additional agenda. I would like to invite Pak Guru probably to to give some some speech probably to Pak Guru as the chairman of the committee, and it's yours.
Thank you very much, Pak Kadek Suniaste, for this opportunity. For the last time before leaving this conference, let me say thank you very much for my keynote speaker. Firstly, Prof. Chung from Chung Yuan University, and secondly, Dr. Serina Osman. Nice to meet you. Yeah, thank you very much for your participation in this moment. And thirdly, also to Pak Agung Bagus, Pak Bagus Agung, as the leader of Bali Travel Board. Thank you, Pak Agung. I hope we will meet you in the future in other topic of seminar. And the last, let me also say thank you very much for my moderator, Pak Dr. Putra Irawan. Hopefully in the future, Pak Irawan also will support every our program in postgraduate of Warmadewa University. Thank you and Om Santi Santi Santi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
As the chairman of the committee of this international conference. Well, thank you again for yes, so